This is video 4 on solving equations, and on this video we're specifically solving equations that have variables on both sides. So let's jump right in. Both of these equations are already simplified. What does simplify mean? It means distributed property and or combining like terms. And as you can see, the left side of the equal sign, it's already simple. There is no distributed property, there is no combining like terms. The same with the right side. So these are simplified equations. So we move on to the goal of solving equations. What's the goal? To get x by itself on one side. You want to isolate x. So the problem here is you have x's on both sides of the equal sign. So you don't want x's on both sides. You only want it on one side so you could get the x by itself. So you either get rid of the negative 3x or get rid of the positive 2x. And it doesn't matter which one you choose. There's many roads to the same place. You should be able to get the right answer. I am going to choose to get rid of the minus 3x because the way to get rid of a minus 3x is to do a plus 3x. And what you do to one side, you do to the other side. And of course, you're going to add 3x to the 2x, not to the 7. You can't add x's and numbers. So it has to be x's and x's. So since we added 3x on one side of the equal sign, we have to add 3x on the other side of the equal sign. And of course, it's with the x's. So the left side, that eliminates the negative 3 and the positive 3. That ends up being 0. 0 x's, that is. And then we have the 8 that comes down, the equal sign that comes down, the negative 7 comes down, and the 2 plus 3 is 5. And we are talking about x's. It is a positive 5x. So now we need to get x by itself on the right side of this equal sign. As you can see, there's a 5 in front of the x, and there's also a negative 7 over here on the right side of the equal sign. So you want to get rid of both the negative 7 and the 5. Question is, which one do you get rid of first? Well, remember, x is what's important. 5's with the x, kind of important. Negative 7's all by itself. Get rid of that one first. How do you get rid of the negative 7? By doing the opposite, which is adding 7, or positive 7. And what you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side of the equal sign to maintain the equality. 8 plus 7 is 15. Let me do it in black. Here we go. 15. Bring down the equal sign. This canceled out. We do have a 5x left over. So this really says 15 equals 5x, which really means 15 equals 5 times x. So you want to get rid of this multiplication of 5 in front of the x. So how do you get rid of multiplication of 5? You do the opposite, which is dividing by 5. And when you do to one side, do the other side. So the 5's eliminate. What do you have left? The equal sign comes down again. X on the right side, and 15 divided by 3 on this side, 15 divided by 5 on this side is the answer 3. So 3 equals x. Of course, it's better to write it as x equals 3. And if you wanted to, you could take this value of 3 and plug it into both x's, do the math, and it should be equal on both sides. If we look at this other one, it's almost identical. You want to get x by itself. Where's x at? It's on the left side of the equal sign and also on the right side. Now you don't want it on both sides. You want to get rid of it, get rid of one of them. So see the reason why on this first one I chose to move the negative 3x over here instead of subtracting 2x and move it over here is because I'd rather have a positive 5x than a negative. So I'm going to choose the same for this next problem. I'm going to move the negative 7x to the left side because I know I'm going to have to add 7x and add 7x, and I'll end up with a positive x. So that's what I'm doing. Plus 7x cancels out. Plus 7x. We do to one side, do to the other. Bring down everything that's left over. There's a 9. There's the negative 6x plus 7x. That is positive 1x. Bring down the equal sign. And on the right side, all you have is this positive 1. So bring that down. Now we need to get x by itself. Where's x at? X is on the left side of the equal sign. You have a 9 and you have a 1. Technically, you don't even need the 1. You could erase it because if it's just x, that means that it's 1x. Anyway, we're going to get rid of that 9 by subtracting 9 and subtracting 9. You therefore will have x equals negative 8. Once again, what are we learning here? It's just like the questions before. You want to get x by itself on one side. One side of what? One side of the equal sign. As you can see, there's x's on both sides, so get rid of one of them. I chose to get rid of the negative 3x by adding 3x. I could have easily chosen to get rid of the 2x by subtracting 2x and subtracting 2x. And I would have had x's on my left side. But that would have been a negative 5x if I would have subtracted 2x. Anyway, again, it's the same as before. You want to get x by itself on one side, but you recognize that there's x's on both sides. So get rid of one of them. That way you could have x on one side and then you could isolate it. I hope this helps.